Hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to our channel, Sai Logics. Our today's topic is course of action from analytical reasoning. This is also an important topic for banks, ESI, and many other competitive examinations. So, if you are new to this channel, so kindly watch the previous videos which I have made on different subjects so that you will get very good idea. So, let us discuss our today's topic, course of action. So, course of action means, so as the name suggests, we need to suggest some actions for what? For the statement given in the examination. That means a statement given in the examination will be of two types. One is a problem and the other one is a policy matter. So whose problem will be discussed in the exam? So it is not our individual problem. It is a problem related to the organizations or companies or a government. So we need to suggest certain course of action so that the intensity of the problem is reduced or minimized or completely solved. And if a policy matter is discussed in the statement, then we have to give suggestions for the improvement of the policy. So let us not waste time. Let us see the introduction and discuss further. So introduction is, in this topic, a situation is presented and some course of actions are suggested in the context of that situation. It is to decide which of the suggestions are followed. So that means in this topic, a situation is presented. That means a statement is presented which is in the form of a situation. And some course of actions are suggested in the context of that situation. For that situation, there will be given certain course of actions, and we have to decide which will be the right course of action to that particular situation. So, which course of action we will treat it as a correct course of action? So a course of action is a step of administrative decision. So that means why administrative decision? Administrative decision will not be there for individual. That is the reason why I already told you these problems are not pertaining to individual person. So it is an administrative decision taken for improvement of follow-up action of a problem, policy, etc. So that means a course of action is just an administrative decision taken for the solution of the problem or improvement of policy. So for evaluating a course of action, it needs to be understood whether the given situation is. So before giving course of action, we need to understand the relationship between the problem and the course of action. There will be two types of relations between a problem and the course of action. So number one, a problem and a suggested course of action talk of a solution. So when a problem is given, the courses of action which were given with the problem will suggest a solution to the problem. In the second case, a simple fact and suggested course of action suggests ways of improvement. So second course will talk only about improvement. It might not show any weight for complete solution. It will just suggest us for improvement only. So let us explain these two very clearly. Number one, problem solution relationship. So what is a problem solution relationship is, here the suggestion involves a solution which the given fact is a problem. So here when a problem is given in the form of a statement, we need to give solution by way of course of actions. So when a course of action is to be treated as a correct course of action is when it totally solve the problem, or at least when it reduce the intensity of the problem, or at least when it minimize the intensity of the problem. So either of these three is made, then the suggested course of action is to be treated as a correct course of action. So there may be four types of questions will be asked from this problem solution relationship. Number one is established fact. Established fact means it was already a problem we are facing regularly, and it is a fact that for that particular problem there is a permanent solution. And for the facts, we no need to give any innovative answers. We need to suggest the same course of action which is being followed regularly. Number two, experiences predict so. So experiences means already some problem might have occurred in our previous days and our predecessors might have solved the problem with certain course of actions. If the same problem occurs again, we need to suggest the same course of action which were used by our predecessors. Logic predicts so. So certain questions will be asked depending upon logic. So you have to develop your logical approach towards those type of questions. Most probably those questions will be asked on current topics. And number four is practical solution. So when a question is very practical, then the suggestions will be given for that question will also be in practical solution only. So let us discuss individually all the four along with examples so that we can very easily understand the topic. So established fact. So what is an established fact? The established fact may be social, biological, or anything which is universally acknowledged as a solution to the given situation. That means these facts, these problems may arise, social problems also, that means a problem faced by the society. Sometimes the problem related to scientific, that is biological problems also will be there. Sometimes any other problem which is universally acknowledged as a solution. That means any other problem for which a course of action is acknowledged by anyone. These three types of problems will be there from established fact. So for example, you see, if we discuss about biological issue, see our example 1 speaks about the biological issue. As an outbreak of cholera, many people have fallen ill. So it's very clear. So cholera has come and it is rapidly growing and many people have fallen ill. Obviously, many people will get affected. Now the course of action is, right course of action will be, purifiers has to be added to drinking water supplied by civic authorities. That means the main reason for cholera is consuming contaminated water. So what they are asking us to do, so you put purifiers to drinking water so that impurities will not be there in your water and thereby you can consume a pure water so that you will not be affected by cholera. So this is a biological question. This course of action will reduce the intensity of cholera or sometimes totally, completely solve the issue which was caused by cholera also. So this course of action, not only in India, in every country which is affected by cholera, they will use the same course of action. That is the reason why it has been mentioned in the above sentence that anything which is universally acknowledged as a solution. That means universal solution we need to give. We should not give any solution which is our individual perception. Whatever the solution you give, it has to be accepted. That means acknowledged by the society. Number two, so number two example predicts the social established fact. So let us see, a child was caught while attempting to steal a bag in a shop. So that means a small child, a kid, is trying to steal a bag in a shop and he was caught by stranger. Now the course of action is the child should be handed over to child welfare society. Then what will happen? In the society, the child will be taught with many lessons and moral values. When he comes out of the society, he will become a good person in the society. Then our problem will get totally solved. So that when we are giving a course of action, you need to check whether the course of action is solving the problem or not. And the next topic is experiences predict so. So that means sometimes based on previous experiences in the same or similar type of situations, it can be easily ascertained that the problem indeed solved this particular action. That means when a problem occurred in our previous days, one solution might have been given by our predecessors. If the same problem occurs again, we have to solve it with the same course of action. No innovative answers are required in this area also. The statement says India is gravely endangered by several expansionist foreign powers. So this is the problem India is facing for many centuries. So the same thing here it has been discussed. The suggestive course of action shall be, course of action is effects should be, so sorry, it is not effects, it is efforts. So there is a small correction. Efforts should be made that the Indians remain united for an eventuality. Even when the outbreak of COVID has come, at the same time when China tried to invade India, so our Prime Minister Sri Modi ji has given a call to Indians that all Indians should remain united to face this problem. So individually we cannot face this problem. So everyone be united. That is the call given by our Prime Minister and as well as our President. So this is the common phenomena when any bigger issues come for the country or the state. So we need to remain united so that we can face any eventuality in the coming future. So that is why the course of action given may not completely solve the issue, but it will have certain impact for the reduction of intensity of problem. And number two, another example is that the example is dowry system and casteism have become an integral part of our life to an alarming extent. Of course, it is not a new issue and it is there for many centuries, and these type of issues we will call them as social evils. So it is very difficult to eradicate totally these social evils from our society, and let us see the course of actions. Number one, efforts should be made to eradicate illiteracy. Yes, of course, that will be a right course of action, because illiteracy is one of the main reasons for dowry system and casteism. Once it is eradicated, at least we may see some change in dowry system and casteism in the society. So one will be a correct course of action. And number two, stringent legislation should be passed. So even now, for dowry system and casteism, there are laws laws have been made in the constitution which are very strict, but still there is no control at all in the society about the dowry system and casteism. So when the laws are there, it has not been controlled. So again, if you suggest the same thing, then it will be useless. So that is why option number two, though it may be related to the issue, but it is not a correct course of action. Third one, logic predicts so. In certain cases, the presented problem may be almost new and hardly any established fact or any experience or any kind of this type of problem may be available. So, when a question is given which is not an established fact or not an experience or any other problem which is not known to us, then we have to suggest course of action logically. Example, the terrorists are rising again in Kashmir, and Pakistan's hand behind this development is obvious. So, terrorists are rising again in Kashmir, and the hand behind it is Pakistan. It is the problem given now. Many times, Pakistan has violated the agreements between two countries, but whenever they violate the issue, what our diplomats will do, they will knock the doors of developing countries or UNO to help in this matter. That is what our people will be doing. So we need to suggest the same course of action if they are available. So here the course of action is India should knock at the doors of international bodies asking them to declare Pakistan a terrorist country. So that is what we are doing for many years, and we need to suggest the same thing. And final option, practical solution. When a course of action is suggested is a practical solution and it is not advisable in practical life, then that is useless. That means when you are giving a practical solution, you need to ensure that the solution given by you is practicable in the real life also. If it is only for the sake of saying, then that is useless. Such type of practical solution shall not be entertained. And next, ensure that the problem and solution are well matched and are in proportion. Two simple solutions are useless for two severe problem, and conversely, two severe solutions are not advisable for two simple problems. That means when you are giving a solution that is a practical solution, you have to ensure that the solution which you are giving is properly matching with the intensity of the problem. So that means you cannot kill a mosquito with a cricket bat. So that means mosquito is very small item, and the weapon you are using to kill it, cricket bat, is a heavy item. So there may not be matching between a mosquito and cricket bat. Finally, what will happen? You will not in a position. That means you will not be able to kill the mosquito with the bat. So that means when problem and solution are not matched, then the course of action is a failure one. See, for example, if a tiger has come into your village, then you cannot kill a tiger with cooking knife, right? Cooking knife is very simple, whereas tiger is a very bigger animal. So like that, you should not give course of action which is not properly matched with the intensity of the problem, and ensure that the solution is not giving rise to a new problem, though the solution reduce or minimize or solve the current problem. So certain solutions will be there. They will appear to be solving the problem totally or reducing the intensity of the problem. But at the same time, they will be giving rise to new problems. So when a solution is giving rise to new problem, that cannot be treated as a correct course of action. Example, a report suggests that indiscipline is the main reason for low productivity in India. So, report is saying because of indiscipline in India, productivity is towards the lesser side. So, now course of action is military training should be made compulsory for all citizens for discipline. Is it right? No, military training is very severe, which may not be suitable for everyone. So, if you made it compulsory, then that will be very useless. So, the problem is very simple. The course of action suggesting is very severe. So, they are not evenly matched. Next, life expectancy of an average Indian is declining continuously. There may be various reasons, but life expectancy of an average Indian is declining. So, suggested course of action is children should be prevented from making noise. The problem is too severe, but the suggested course of action given is very simple. So, these type of answers cannot be treated as correct. And the final example, the problem of tax evasion has reached its peak in India. So it is known to everyone. So there will be a tax evasion in this country, and the reason for tax evasion also known to everyone, because in India the rate of tax is too high. So let us see the course of action now. One, the rate of tax should be lowered. Yes, this may be a right answer, because once the tax percentages is lowered, so everybody will be paying the taxes. Number two, taxes should be abolished. Of course, this may also be a correct course of action, because once taxes are abolished, then there will be no issue of tax evasion in future. So if this is done, then where from the government get money for developmental activities? So this option number 2 may be solving the issue totally, but at the same time it is giving rise to new problem called money for the government is not available. So if it is giving a new problem, then that course of action treated to be wrong. And final thing, a committee should be formed for investigation of the reason for tax evasion. So it is a common phenomena in our country. So whenever a issue arises or whenever a problem arises, so immediately our government will form a committee for investigation. So that will be the right course of action. And option number 2, one we have seen, that means a problem and a suggestion relation that we have seen. And the second one, a fact, a follow-up action. So these questions do not require any new skills. That means same, equal to the first part, even second part also we can do. It is to be solved exactly on the pattern of the first type. Thus, you have to solve these problems in 2 steps. Determine whether the suggested action will help in an improvement of the situation. So there in the first step, what we have seen, we have ensured that the given course of action has reduced or minimized or totally solved the issue. Whereas in the second fact follow-up action, we are not ensuring any solution. But what we are seeing here, it should show an improvement of the situation and they are properly balanced. Here we need to see only improvement in the situation. Okay, so these are the 2 types of questions will be asked in the examination. And final tips. So one tip already I have given while discussing. In this chapter, ensure that suggestions made are acceptable in the society. That means universally acknowledged by every country. So that is very important, and no individual answers are to be given in this chapter. When a suggestion is about a formation of committee, so regarding any issues in India, it has become a habitual action that a committee will be formed. So if it relates to a sports or any health issues, they will form a team of cricketers, a team of health, a team of doctors, say. So when it comes to class or when it comes to school or college, they will form a group of people, a group of leaders, a group of teachers. When it comes to civil and criminal issues, so it is obvious that inquiry or investigation will be done. So when it comes to educational department again, so there will be an option called counseling. So counseling to students or counseling to parents. So when these type of words are used in the course of action, you need to treat them as correct course of actions. So this is a very easy chapter, and this chapter definitely you will get around 5 questions. So 5 out of 5 you can answer. It is so easy. So we will do practice and exercise in the next video. Until then, have a nice time everyone. I request one and all to subscribe my channel. Namaste.